Hi, first and foremost, give all praise to Yahweh, Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Baruch Thumb, and give a sincere greeting to all the brothers and sisters scattered across the four corners, teaching this word with sincerity and charity. And Brother Phoenix, Prince of Power, Israelites. Short lesson, semi-short lesson, more so of a read-along. Read-along, man, to help us get some understanding on some things, especially on how the Most High is operating, how He's moving and using the other nations. And so to deal with some of this, because, Israel really don't know a lot of history, man. We really don't know the Bible, man. I know we can scream off a lot of precepts. All right, we can scream off a lot of precepts, and but because you've memorized something don't mean you understand it. All right, just because you memorize the alphabet don't mean you know how to read. All right, just because you memorize the Hebrew alphabet don't mean you know how to read Hebrew. Don't mean you understand Hebrew. Don't mean you know the meaning. And even when you're reading Hebrew, even when you can pronunciate and sound out certain words, that don't mean you have understanding on these things. So that's one of the things I was one of the things, the same thing I was doing. You know what I'm saying? I got a lot of precepts in memory. But I really didn't start learning till, you know what I'm saying, these last couple years, man, these last 2 years, that's where the growth been coming in. And it's been coming in not because I've been sitting down memorizing, precepts, but, with just 1 or 2 verses, but I've been reading the text. I've been reading, from one captivity to the next captivity. All right. From one book to the next book. And chapter to chapter, you know what I'm saying, to understand fully what's going on. Now, we're gonna read a couple things that you may not have written, especially, and this is a class for all my brothers and sisters amongst Israel, who have ill will towards the other nations. All right. And listen, the Refuting One West Hebrew Israelism, I'm just getting started, y'all. To be honest, I'm just getting started. I'm just giving y'all the little small things. Okay, I'm just easing you in because we got a lot of stuff to deal with, man. We got a lot of stuff to deal with, and we got to be operating in humility. Okay, we got to be operating in humility. I want to go first to 1 Kings. I want to say 11. Yeah, 1 Kings 11, man. 1 Kings 11. We always go here to deal with what? Multiple wives. All right. Anybody want to talk? Not multiple wives. I'm sorry, but foreign wives dealing with the outside nations. And we probably ain't read the whole chapter, man. We probably just stopped there. If we did read the whole chapter, we would really understand a few things. And again, the reading is good because it helps you get understanding, but it also, you're going to get understanding, not by just reading, but by getting better at reading. You know what I'm saying? By understanding the words better, especially if we dealing with King James version. Reading the old English, getting better with the old English, because a lot of our trip ups is the old English is kicking our butt, man. It's kicking Israel butt. Because we don't like to read, because we watch videos, we get our precepts, we write them down, and we memorize them, and then we go out on the streets and teach and tell somebody, and say the same things that we just heard our brothers and sisters say. We don't really know why they saying it, but we just say it. You know what I'm saying? And again, it's a lot of doctrine we got to deal with. So again, it's like I stopped numbering the Refuting One West Hebrew Israelism. I got enough content probably to go through the year. But, we got to just ease into this thing, man, because that cognitive dissonance is a serious thing. So let's go with 1 Kings chapter 11 and verse 1. It says, "But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and the Hittites. Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, you shall not go in unto them." You got brothers teaching that you can go into you can only Only the Canaanites are prohibited. All right, but we listening to these brothers. We not questioning nothing that these brothers are teaching. And so they're allowing their members to go out and sleep with strange women. Or you can sleep with them, but you ain't got to marry them. That's what the women are for. All right, that's what the other nations are for. Just don't marry them. But you can sleep with them. But brothers quiet on this thing. And this is why this is the main reason. Like, you don't understand the book if you don't understand that we in sin, man. The sin is what's keeping us in captivity. The sin what got us in the captivity is what's keeping us in the captivity. Are we dealing with it? Are we dealing with the rebuke? Are we dealing with the reproof? Who's giving the correction? Man, we've been teaching this trash 50 years, man. We've been teaching Jude of Mourner the gates are black. It's literally saying the gates are black, man. We've been teaching that 50 years, man. That's because nobody question it. Nobody can question it. Nobody in that organization can question that. And it's making us look foolish. Joker say that the New Jerusalem in Revelation, the New Jerusalem coming down is really Israel. And then go down a couple verses, go down about 10 verses. And then you say we get to the gates, and the gates are great and high. And then say, well, what gate you walking into? Brother, you just said it was the New Jerusalem is the people. But we don't question nothing these folks say. We just write down the precepts and we memorize what they said, and we use it the exact same way. That's why brothers be sounding just like their leader. They be sounding exactly like them because they don't have the understanding to put it in their own words. All right, they don't have the understanding to put it in their own words, so their speech is exactly like them. They're moving like them and everything. Anyway. Verse 2, of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, you should not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart after their gods. Solomon clave unto these in love. And he had 700 wives, princesses, 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart. And we'll try to use Solomon as an example for polygamy, man. Verse 4, for it came to pass when Solomon was old that these wives turned away his heart after other gods, and his heart was not perfect with the Lord his God, and as was the heart of David his father. For Solomon went after Ashtoreth, the goddess of the Zidonians, and after Milcom, the abominations of the Ammonites. And Solomon did evil in the sight of the Lord and went not fully after the Lord as David his father. And then Solomon built an high place for Shemos, an abomination of Moab, and in the hills that is before Jerusalem, and for Moloch, the abomination of the children of Ammon. And likewise did he for all his strange wives with burnt incense and sacrifice unto their gods. Burnt incense and sacrifice unto their gods, giving worship. Verse 9, and the Lord was angry. Excuse me, y'all. I just just got filled on some raps, but I'm about to fill y'all with this word today, right now. And the Lord was angry with Solomon because his heart was turned from the Lord God of Israel, which had appeared unto him twice. Listen, the Lord done told you twice, boy. He done appeared to you twice. Appeared to you. Came to you twice. And this is what I'm saying. And he still rejected it. This is the thing. Especially when we say stuff like, he showed his word to Jacob, his law statutes to Israel. He not dealt so with no other nation. Brother, we threw that thing in the trash. He showed it to us and we threw it in the trash. And then we running around here pumped up like we deserve something more than these folks do. They never got it. What make you better? What makes us feel like we better than them when we were given the opportunity? We were the only ones given the opportunity to hear his word, to follow his word, to have the kingdom, and we threw it in the trash. They didn't throw it in the trash. He said actually to them in Ezekiel, y'all read it, Ezekiel 3 and 6. Let me get there, man. Ezekiel 3 and 6, man. Because Ezekiel 3 and 6, watch what he say to them about these other nations. And he already knew. Ezekiel 3 and 6, it says, not to many people of a strange speech and of hard language, whose words thou cannot understand, surely had I sent thee to them, they would have hearkened unto thee, but the house of Israel will not hearken unto thee, for they will not hearken unto me. For all the house of Israel are impudent and hard-headed. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to even say that. It's embarrassing to even say that, man, we God's chosen people, and we sat there and killed the Messiah. We sat there and killed all the prophets. We sat there and killed Stephen. All right, we attacked Phil. We tried to Philip, Paul. You know what I'm saying? You know, just we rejected the gospel when the kingdom was at hand. Let me get back to this thing, y'all. Verse 9. What was that, verse 9? No. He appeared twice. Verse 10. And he had commanded him concerning this thing that he should not go after other gods, but kept not that which the Lord commanded. Now, after the Most High give you all this wisdom, give you this great kingdom of all kingdoms, you still put other gods in there. And then Joker's got the nerve to call Solomon Christ. And we ain't saying nothing about it. And y'all worry about some heathens. Joker's is teaching that God appeared to him twice and he got other gods in the temple. You think Christ can make you? But we write down the precepts and we just teach you how they talk. We don't go read. We're not thinking for ourselves. Where we at? Verse 11. Wherefore the Lord said unto Solomon, for as much as this is done of thee, and thou hast not kept my commandments and my statutes, which I have commanded thee, I will surely rend the kingdom from thee, and I will give it to thy servant. Notwithstanding, in the days I would not do it for David's thy father's sake, but I will rend it out of thy hand of thy son. So, you know, for David's sake, I ain't gonna take it from you, but I'm gonna take it from your son. And this is how the northern kingdom was split. It started with the sins of Solomon. It was prophesied then that I'm gonna split this kingdom because of your foolishness dealing with these other deities and gods. Howbeit, I will not rend it away. Verse 13, howbeit, I will not rend it away, but will give one tribe to thy son David for my servant's sake and for Jerusalem's sake, which I have chosen. And the Lord stirred up. Watch this now. This is what we really wanted. You know, I just wanted to just give you a little prelude, but this is where we at. This is what we really want to get down to. It says, and the Lord stirred up an adversary unto Solomon. All right, I told you what I was finna do to you. See, now I gotta get my belt. See, I told y'all, listen, I'm finna take this away from. I'm finna take your game away. All right, I'm finna take your cell phone. But you also finna get their whooping, man. All right. So he went and picked one of his favorite belts, man. Verse 14, he says, and the Lord stirred up an adversary unto Solomon, Hadad, the Edomite. He was the king's seed in Edom. For it came to pass when David was in Edom, and Joab, the captain of the host, was going up to bury the slain, after he had smitten every male in Edom. Happy shall he be when he dashes his kids' heads across the wall. Did you know David darn near killed every male in Edom? Show me the lesson. Show me the lesson. Put the One West lesson from any One West camp. Put the lesson in there that's telling you that David already was bashing these folk head into the wall. David almost wiped out. David and Joab, they up here buried. Watch this now. We're gonna keep reading. Shalakia. So for it came to pass when David was in Edom, verse 15, and Joab, the captain of the host, was going up to bury the slain after he had smitten every male in Edom. Verse 16, for 6 months did Joab remain there with all Israel until he had cut off every male in Edom. They were there slaughtering Edom for 6 months. till they killed every male. What you think they were doing with the female? Wicked, but verse 17, that Hadad fled. Okay, that Hadad. Who is Hadad? Are you following along? Who is Hadad? Hadad, verse 14. Verse 14. It says, and the Lord stirred up an adversary unto Solomon, Hadad the Edomite. Okay, let's go back down. Let's make sure y'all with me. Verse 17. And Hadad fled, he and certain Edomites of his father's servants with him, to go into Egypt. Hadad being yet a little child. It's like the golden child. This the last Edomite. You know what I'm saying? Last surviving couple Edomites. They had to flee into Egypt. Okay. Verse 18. And they arose out of Midian, and came to Paran, and they took men with them out of Paran, and they came to Egypt unto Pharaoh, king of Egypt, which gave him an house and appointed him victuals and gave him land. And listen, wait a minute now. This sounds very familiar. This almost sounds like Israel, you know, coming in with his family, okay? Coming in with his family and his son, bringing them in and giving them some land. And the Egyptians giving them some land so they can hide out. So they can survive this famine that's coming. He did this for an Edomite? Yahweh? Wait a minute, man. And not only that, he said, which gave him a house and appointed him victuals and gave him land. All right. And Hadad found great favor in the sight of the Pharaoh, so that he gave him a wife, the sister of his own. Somebody else got a wife. Didn't Joseph get a wife also from the Pharaoh? The sister of Taphanes, the queen. Verse 20. And the sister of Taphanes bare him Genubath, his son, and from Taphanes weaned in Pharaoh's house. And Genubath was in Pharaoh's household among the sons of Pharaoh. And when Hadad, again, Hadad the Edomite, Hadad in Egypt, Hadad heard in Egypt that David slept with his fathers, and that Joab, the captain of the host, was dead, Hadad said to Pharaoh, let me depart that I might go to my own country. Once Hadad done got up of age, and he done found out David dead, and not even up of age, you know what I'm saying? Once, David, you know what I'm saying? Ain't like David just immediately died. So, probably David in his prime, I would figure, killing these folks like that. But anyway, all right. Once Edom heard this, meaning he's still holding on to this anger of you killing every male. So you kill every male of his family. All right, he's still holding on to that thing. All right, verse 22. Then Pharaoh said unto him, but what hast thou lacked with me, that behold thou seekest to go to thine own country? Sarah, like, man, what you missing? What haven't I given you that you want to go back to Edom? And he answered, nothing. Howbeit, let me go anywise. Nothing, but let me go. Like, I don't even want to tell you, bro, but I'm finna knock these jokers' head off. Let me go anyway. You ain't gonna listen. You done gave me everything. You've been a great hospital. And this way it goes into, you know what I'm saying, don't abhor the stranger, for you were a stranger in Egypt. Egypt treated you with great hospitality till the one king came. But again, all of these things are stirred up. He's stirring up certain adversaries for a reason. Watch how the Most High is moving, so you'll understand his judgments. Verse 23, and God stirred him up another adversary. Who he stirred up another adversary for? Israel. Rezon, the son of Eladah, which fled from the Lord Hadadezer, king of Zobath. And he gathered men unto him and became captain over a band when David slew them of Zobath. So David slew these folks too. Then the Most High said, you can't build me a house because of all the blood that you have on you, man. Your son to build me a house. And they went to Damascus and dwelt therein and reigned in Damascus. And he was an adversary to Israel all the days of Solomon. He was an adversary all the days of Solomon, beside the mischief that Hadad did. And he abhorred Israel and reigned over Syria. He hated Israel, reigned over Syria. And Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, Ephraite of Zeradah, Solomon's servant, whose mother name was Zeruiah, a woman widow, when even he lifted up his hand against the king. And this was the cause that lifted up his hand against the king. Solomon built Millo and repaired the breaches of the city of David his father. And the men of Jeroboam was a mighty man of valor. Solomon, seeing the young man that he was industrious, he made the ruler over all the charge of the house of Joseph. That's pretty much all we wanted in that 11. Then it goes into Jeroboam and Rehoboam and that split, and how, Jeroboam ends up being over the industrious, being somebody that was over the laborious form of work when building these breaches, building these walls up for a day. And this is how the split is happening. Okay, this is all playing into it. Now Solomon has all of these enemies surrounding him. Now he want to rebuild this wall, but now when he's building the wall, the Most High done raised up Jeroboam, this man of valor, who's industrious, who's going to lead the northern kingdom in building this wall. And then, so when the split actually comes about, when Solomon dies and have to, and them folks is telling Rehoboam, like, listen, man, we can't be working hard, man. We don't want to be working as hard as your father had us working. And then he go listen to his partners. Rehoboam go listen to his partners instead of listening to the elders. And then the northern kingdom like, listen, man, we out, man. You know what I'm saying? We done already been working too hard. And that's why Jeroboam was in that place, because he was the leader of those workers, and it became an issue. The issue of the split was because of the labor. But not only that, the main issue was Solomon dealing with all of these deities. But you got to understand how the Most High's work. You got to see the whole picture. You got to see how everything played out, how everything was built up. The Most High put Rezin there. He put Hadad there so that they can build the wall, so that Jeroboam can be raised up and have to do all this hard work with his northern kingdom brothers. Then when the split actually comes and the conversation comes with who the king, well, we got the new king, and then this whole conversation comes up about labor and you got this man here. He's pretty much like the foreman of the what they call that when they at the jobs, the union. Jeroboam like the foreman of the union. He's like the president of the union, and they like, hey man, we ain't finna be working like you just had us work. He's like, man, I'm gonna work y'all even harder than my father. Then we out. And so then we had a split. Then we had Rehoboam and Jeroboam. In two kingdoms. But all of this was orchestrated by the Most High. But show me the One West class who broke that down for you. Show me the class, put it down there in the comments. Did you read it, man? We ain't just read one chapter. We ain't even read the whole chapter. All we read was about 20 verses. Let's go to 2 Kings chapter 8. Matter of fact, let me just stop here just in case my camera act crazy.